Kurt, what's up? What's up?
I made it. We had a good
Oh,
day today. It wasn't a bad day. It started out, Monday was terrible, right? Yesterday was good. Did 16 yesterday. Today was good. Did 13.93. Don't know how I quite got to a 9.3, but
yeah, how you
good
do
old
that?
warranty time. Good old warranty time on me. We'll get it. But I do have a 40-hour ticket to get done by the weekend. So, I'm sitting pretty where we're at. So
To get done by the weekend. When you gonna finish it? Tomorrow, first day?
Oh, uh, I mean, it'll be done Saturday or something. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah, dude, that's great. That's a push. It's about to be. I'm predicting. We're gonna have a slow day this week, man. Nah, I don't want to wish that, but I mean, theoretically,
so,
hypothetically speaking, that's what we're coming off of.
so I watch the reservations daily and weekly because we have like a forecast for the week, and I noticed that this week our 7 day prediction is like 28 ROs higher. So I'm thinking that the Christmas, like, the college kids are coming home, that kind of stuff is going to set in at the end of this week and next week when people start coming back from school and coming home and they're, getting their services and their maintenance done. So I'm hoping that that kind of closes the year out strong because, man, this year has been, at least compared to last year, this year has been tough.
Oh, that year to date growth looking a little low the last year.
Yeah, they um I the amount of hours I flagged for an 11-month period is 2,300 less than I did last year.
What the heck?
Yeah, so
2,300.
I'm doing a one third less hours than I did the last 2 years, last 3 years, honestly, actually. So
Sheesh.
I
I
might,
know if you feeling that, the business feeling that.
well, I mean, I'm sure they're feeling it, but at the same time, it's like, we talk about finances. I'm not going to get too much into it. We got a guest to get to, but the thing is like even planning for the slow times is hard when you take a third of your paycheck out and you take a third of your hours out. It's like you can only plan for so much. I mean, I don't plan for a third less money, a third less hours. That's crazy.
Yeah,
But
you don't plan for that at all.
but either way, we got a good guest today who isn't a dealership technician anymore. She's working on classic Porsches. Something I think we all dream of doing. I know. See right here, I
See
dream
what
of
about?
working on old Porsches one day. So hopefully, she can give us some insight into that. And I don't know if you have any questions lined up, but I'm excited for today.
Yeah, especially I mean, especially like I've went through her Instagram and a couple of the vehicles. It looks like she was working on motorcycles, but then it was like Porsche stuff. So I'm like, are those air cooled heads I'm looking at? Like, how is that even working? And but then I thought she's classic, so it kind of makes sense that I guess Porsche stopped making air cooled stuff in 1998. So we'll get a bit of more information on her about that. You know what I mean? So we'll see. I'm
Yeah,
really excited though.
yeah, nothing Toyota's been doing, huh? They got no air cooled Toyotas out there.
Not that I know of.
Well, let's get into it. We're gonna have a good one. Hope y'all enjoy the episode, and we'll get into it.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the WOT podcast, starring the two best hosts in the world. You already know me, Jalid and Curtis, right beside me. And we have a new wonderful guest today. Goes by on Instagram, Dear Nhu. Thank you very much for hopping on our podcast. How have you been doing? And yeah, just really that. I'm just gonna start with that.
I'm amazing. Thank you guys for having me on. It's very nice to meet you both.
Pleasure to
Likewise.
meet you. We're excited to learn a little bit more about you, who you are, and how you got into the industry, and your career, and what you're doing now.
I'm an open book.
How did you get started? Like, where did your career start at the very beginning? How did you get in, and what were the first few years like for you?
So I started getting into cars when I started driving when I was 16. And at that time, I got a job delivering used Volkswagen parts. And so I was like really into it. And then graduating high school, I wanted to get into it, but I didn't have the discipline for one, and my family didn't really encourage it. So I didn't. I didn't pursue it at all until I was 30, and then I was in an office job, and I was like, but I don't really like this. What do I want to do? What can I be happy waking up to in the mornings? So I figured, you know what, I wanted to try this when I was in high school. Let's give it a shot. I found a small shop that would take me in, just kind of like as a, like let's just give her a shot. I spent a year and a half there, and then I was hired by a brand new Porsche dealership that was hiring all positions. I spent almost 8 years there, and then I left there March of 2020 and spent the next 5 years at a high-end independent where I helped them grow their classic Porsche program.
Okay. Okay, that's awesome. Like, did you well, I'm honestly, it's like props to you for going out and doing what you wanted. I feel like so many of us are
Thank you.
hesitant to like, I mean, you decided, hey, I want to work on cars at 30, and most people would be so afraid to do that. And like that's awesome. I'm super happy for you to do that. But what I
Thank
was gonna
you.
say, do you think the Porsche dealership was better, or are you? I mean, I know you're independent now, so it's safe to say you probably enjoyed that more.
I do like the independent atmosphere more than the demands of the dealership corporation.
And what
You know what I'm
demands
talking
are we
about.
talking?
Is it just like the politics and stuff like that, or is it just maybe a little bit more
It's
late?
more than just the politics. One gripe I have in the industry is the front of the house so much more superior to the back of the house, but so that I have a gripe with, which I find is less so in some independents. I guess I haven't spent too much time at all independents. The Some of the politics, some of the paperwork, like enough with the office desk stuff. That's why I left the desk and went to the bench. I just want to fix stuff. And when you do classic stuff, flat rate doesn't work for classic stuff. Like this stuff takes a long time, all of the time. I have the same car on my hoist for weeks and months at a time sometimes, and that's not conducive to like dealership in and out kind of business.
And still profitable too. So that's a good thing.
It depends. It
It
depends.
never
I
depends on.
Sorry.
It
I feel
depends
like the
in
reason
what way.
I feel like maybe in comparison to the regular service and warranty or CP work, classic work is not as profitable. It's not nearly as profitable. The scope always goes beyond what you initially thought it was. The time is like, it takes so much more time. And that's time that you could be like pumping out tires and brakes and services and stuff like that, right? So it's not as profitable as regular new car service work if you treat it that way, right? It's like when you're working on older cars, they can't be treated like when you're working on new cars. It's just totally different game.
Yeah, understood.
Yeah, that's it's kind of, I think a lot of technicians probably wish they were working on old cars, especially Porsches. I know I feel like that sometimes. I think the flat rate grinds can sometimes be a little tiresome, to say the least. So it's kind of cool to hear about, how you got in and what you're interested in, and just like seems like you have a real deep passion for just, like you said, tearing stuff apart, fixing cars in the right way, not necessarily a rushed way. With that,
Yeah, yeah. It's the working with my hands, right? Like there's I feel like a nobility to it and a sense of honor and accomplishment that I get, and having to rush through something, and especially because it's an older car, you touch something and it crumbles, or you open this and that thing breaks, right? Like if I'm rushed through this, I can't do the proper job that I want to do. And so, but the grass is greener on both sides. Sometimes I just want like a break service or, like a major service that doesn't take like, actually, no, they all take long. They all take long. But sometimes, I do want just like the regular, like quick service work. But I do get some of that on the older cars too. So I kind of have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Have you dealt with more like restoration processes or just like big repairs on older vehicles that you have to take your time with?
Both. I've restored, I want to say like three cars, like fairly extensive full restorations. I don't do body, but I'll do pretty much everything else around the car. And then aside from that, classic Porsches, the air-cooled Porsches are known for oil leaks. So a lot of pull engines and reseals and stuff like that. Everything takes a little bit longer.
I know you just recently moved to LA. Could you maybe tell us a little bit about where you were at, and some of the decisions that went into, that you went across to move to a new country now, to the United States down here. So just kind of run us through that. Like how did you find it? What was your thought process, and how are things going? I think, what is your first week, 2 weeks?
I'm in my second week. I started last Tuesday. So far, so good. It's a small team. The guys are great. The work is, what I want. The weather is good. So that's like a huge bonus. The reason why I left, I've always kind of known that I would relocate at some point, and I've always wanted it to be somewhere warm. I need like a several years break from winter. So when was it? In 2024, um, I had a friend who was working at Porsche Motorsports North America in LA, and they take care of all of the race engines, race cars in all of the Porsche racing series. I had an opportunity there, and when it was done, the shop manager was like, "You know what? When we hire, I want you to apply." And I thought, hey, that's really cool. So I applied, and he kept me apprised of the whole process. And out of 60 applicants, I was the only one that was qualified. I was the only one out of 60 applicants qualified because they were looking specifically for a Porsche tech that had experience with engines and all of this. But at the end of the day, Porsche didn't want to sponsor me because I needed sponsorship to get into work in the country, right? Um, During that process, my friend Marco, who I'm working for now, said that, you know what, if that doesn't work out, you have a standing offer here. So when that fell through, I took Marco up on his offer. It just took this long to get here because of immigration and everything like that. We wanted to go and do it properly. And as a mechanic, I know we talk about how the labor shortage and that we need tradespeople and stuff like that, but that information hasn't communicated up to like customs or immigration. And so when they're looking for people to come in, they're still prioritizing people with degrees, accountants and arborists and web designers. But as a mechanic, it's a lengthier process. You're qualified for a specific visa, but luckily because of all of the Instagram stuff that I've done, the interviews, the awards and stuff like that, I was actually able to come in on another visa, another type of visa. So that's that's how that went down. It just took a really long time to get through all of that.
So social media ended up helping you get your visa faster. Application. That's
Well,
insane.
I know. I feel like if I was just any other mechanic, I wouldn't have been able to get in through this visa for sure.
And that's so posting helped you, and then it said it took a while. I gotta imagine that it was a little heartbreaking to get to be one of the only people accepted into the program, and then be like, hey, we can't sponsor you, we can't get you in. I imagine that was probably a pretty hard process.
It was disappointing because I thought that would have been really cool, but I feel like I'm not like it was disappointing, but I'm not like heartbroken because ultimately it would have been like a dealer, right? And we talked about the politics and the demands and stuff like that. I feel like it would have been the same. So I think everything turned out the way that it should have.
I
That's
think
pretty good.
life has a way
What
of doing
you
that.
spoke of like awards and accolades. If possible, can you list some of them down so like for new viewers that don't know you or may not know you, they can know because you already said you felt like if it wasn't if you said if you didn't have the social media presence, you felt like you wouldn't have been able to get that visa and stuff. So just so everybody can know if they have any doubts of what your accolades are.
Fair enough, fair enough. So, and a lot of the accolades happened because of the Instagram stuff, right? People like crap on Instagram all the time, but I meet and am inspired by so many amazing people, especially in the trades, and it afforded me this opportunity, right? So, I would start with in 2019, I restored a car for the Porsche dealership that I was at, and it was Porsche Canada's first classic restoration competition. I came in sixth out of 12, classic dealers throughout Canada. That was the first car I ever restored, so coming in sixth, I thought was a pretty big deal, and I won the Passion Award from the president from Porsche Canada. I've also won I was nominated for the Premier's Award, which is like the premier of a province is like the governor of a state. So I was nominated for that. I am I guess this wouldn't be called an award, although I kind of feel like it's an award, as I am the first woman in the world to have been Porsche Classic certified. I was in North America's first class. And so in 2019, when I was certified, I became the world's first Porsche Classic certified woman. And there's been other ones too, but I can't remember them all.
That's that's awesome. I'm pretty sure a lot of females and young females in the industry are like looking up to you on Instagram just because I mean of the social media presence you build on there. Shoot, I mean I'd be looking up to you. I mean, and I'm not even
I
working
hope
for
so.
Porsche.
I hope so. I hope to inspire people to do what they love and just kind of excel at what they love to do.
You just quickly touching on, do you feel like being a woman in the trade have you run into any obstacles, or has it been kind of smooth for you?
It's been incredibly smooth. I know a lot of women in the trades who have had a really hard time, but I think it's the environment of the facility that they're in. Like if the facility is toxic, it'll be toxic to you regardless of your gender. And it'll probably be worse because of your gender, but you could be a guy and it'll be toxic towards you too. I've had uh, I've been lucky in that the places that I've worked for have not been toxic. Yeah. Actually, when I was talking to my coworker today, because he was asking, we just started working together. So he was asking the same thing, what has my experience been? And I said that um, going through school, through work, everyone's been super supportive. My one time that I was kind of worried about it was when Porsche sent me to California for the classic training. Or actually no, they sent me to Atlanta first, and I wasn't sure how the American techs would take to me, right? So I was really worried about that, but they were fantastic too. So I've been super lucky in that my experience has been positive. Everyone's been encouraging and just like really welcoming into the trade.
Well,
Awesome.
that's heartwarming to hear. Sure. I mean,
It's
I've heard so
inspiring
many
to
different
go ahead, Jake. Go ahead.
Sorry,
You ask a
guys.
question. We keep talking over each other.
No, I think it's because of the lag in internet. Bro. You're good. You're good. I had
Yeah.
nothing more to say.
No,
You know
what I
what?
was just saying
Actually,
is it's
the
inspiring.
sorry.
No, it's just inspiring because your story about that is not, it doesn't happen like that for everyone, and to hear it has been so smooth for you as in the dealership and in the independent shop and at training is like it's awesome because it says lets other women know that hey, not every place is bad. All those
It's
things that you see online aren't true, and there are
yeah.
good places out there that support everybody.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. You just have to find that place. And not every place is going to be like that, but there are a lot of places that are going to be like that. And I didn't do much of it this year because of this whole move, but because of the support that I've received throughout my career, I'm a huge Movember supporter. I'm a Mo sister, and I've been raising money for Movember for like 13 years or something like that. And it is because I want to raise awareness. I spend time with these guys day in and day out, and I know how it is. Like you guys don't take care of your health, you guys don't take care of your mental health, you guys don't like share and stuff like that. And so I use Movember to kind of pay back and to remind the guys that like follow me or I work with to take care of yourselves because I think it's important and I give credit where credit is due.
Wait, what's
Hey, go for it.
I'm so sorry.
So
What is it?
that's okay. Movember is an organization for men's health. They raise funds and awareness for to support and to educate men on mental health, prostate cancer, testicular cancer, suicide prevention, and it
I was gonna
happens in sorry, and it happens every November. And its motto, its campaign is that you grow a mustache for the month of November. November.
So do you grow a mustache for November too?
I wear a fake mustache.
I'm just um that's that's awesome that you're doing that, and because you are right. I mean, not just men, but I think people in skilled trades and physical labor are, it's work, work, work. There's no time for health or mental health and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
props to
yeah,
you for talking about it and bringing it to people's attention and just supporting it because I know I'm probably one of those people too. I don't take care of myself as well as I should. So, it's a healthy
yeah.
reminder. I probably should get over there and
Okay, good. Well, thank you guys.
yeah,
And like it's just something that you guys don't talk to each other about and that kind of stuff. And it's just kind of normalizing it that you guys can take care of each other and we can take care of each other because we are better together.
100%. Um, since you have, so have you ever dealt with like I was since you said you were in a dealership for a year and a half or
No, I was at a
so
small shop for a year and a half, and then I went to the Porsche dealership. I spent like almost 8 years there, and then I went to an independent for 5 years.
okay, so you spent 8 years in the Porsche dealership. How I mean, how was that tenure? And like I see that you went to like training in Georgia, so they were like they sent you to a lot of classes to learn a lot. So how was that experience in them 8 years at the dealership?
That was actually really awesome until towards the end. There were changes and stuff like that, and that was part of why I left. But as a brand new dealership, everyone was growing together, and all Porsche techs are put through training to achieve bronze, silver, and gold. And Canada didn't have a Porsche Academy yet, so we were all sent to the US. It started out for bronze. I went to Atlanta because their head office is in Atlanta, and I went to LA a couple of times. And then I got into the classic stuff, and all of their classic training is just outside of LA. I had opportunities to work with race teams. I worked with their ice driving program. I think I worked that program like for 4 years, where I go up to northern, not northern, like north of Montreal. There's a track that is in the summertime, it's a rally track. And in the wintertime, it's closed down and it's like this perfectly manicured snow and ice track for drifting and stuff like that. So people go every year in January, February, and then they just throw around Porsches on the ice. And so I got to be tech support for that for 4 years. Again, the race experience, the restoration stuff. So there were a lot of opportunities for me there at the dealership.
And you got all the way through all the certifications, gold and classic. I know you did classic, but you got
No, I got bronze and then silver, and then I moved to gold. And I finished gold, but I didn't continue pursuing I guess like the regular track to gold. So I got the classic, but I didn't get the gold. And then once I got the classic, I left. So, and you're only eligible for training as a Porsche tech.
Mm-hmm.
you got the coolest certification. The classic one's probably the coolest one.
In particular, what style pay plan did they have you on at the dealership? Was it mostly flat rate or was it an hourly base?
It was mostly flat rate. Canada is, wait, I don't want to say Canada. I feel like not all parts of Canada operate the same, but I know where I was in Toronto, in Ontario, it was flat rate. And there are dealerships or people that are trying to move the industry away from flat rate because it doesn't serve us anymore.
Oh, so at mostly your dealership, like, or your area, they use flat rate, but they were trying to move away. So their outlook on it was kind of like being already flat rate, being outdated.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because me and Curtis have had that discussion like multiple times, like through different podcasts and stuff. So I was just wondering your outlook on flat rate in general, if you were willing to give us a look into your head.
Yeah, for sure. When things, so, okay, slow seasons, flat rate doesn't make any sense. You know, I'm there, but you can't bring any work in, so it's my fault and can't get paid. I shouldn't have to sit here if you can't bring work in.
Yes.
You know, like if you can have like a couple of guys because those will be the only guys that are going to get work if anything comes in. But you can't expect your full staff to sit there and not get paid. That's not fair. Period. Um, it's beneficial when you can like pump through work, but then that also leaves a lot of like, and I've talked to I know too many people who have had horror stories where people are flagging out that they're not actually spending on work, right? And, you know, like part of the reason why I got into this industry is for the stereotypes that, you know, you're going to be taken advantage of and they're going to scam you and stuff like that. And it's not our fault, but it's our fault, you know, like the stereotype didn't come from nowhere. These things happen to people, and it's because of people taking advantage of the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think quality goes up. Like if you get rid of flat rate, you're not going to run into some of those actual issues like that, and quality and people saying they're doing things and not, or doing them halfway. But flat rate does benefit some people. Because some people just like to do more.
Yeah. No, it's true. And I mean, you should be rewarded for doing more. That's fair. But that doesn't mean that like that you should not get paid if you can't do anything, but you're still expected to be there for one, right?
Yeah.
Or I had another point. I can't remember it now. But yeah, it has to be fair.
Oh, my fault.
It stinks.
Sorry. I swear it's the internet. I swear it's the internet. So it like mistimes me and then I jump and then you're talking again and I'm like, no. But
yeah, your connection
so yeah,
is
for your outlook. I would assume from your outlook, the best thing possibly what I would want as well is basically like a 40-hour guarantee with incentives of being flat rate. Like, you know what I mean? Like if I flag do good that week, I think if everybody just got on that, like every single dealership, the whole argument would be over because we have a safe landing. Because mostly the arguments are like
Yeah.
slow seasons, no work. Like the people taking advantage of it. I mean, I feel like that would kind of go away somewhat with the guarantee, you know what I mean? But because
Yeah.
the
You
less
know
time
what?
people get more.
No, you're totally right. Like it's up to us to monitor and be aware, call out people who are taking advantage of it. It's the looking the other way that like allows people to misbehave or ruin. Sorry, I keep wanting to swear. That allows poor behavior to go on. So you know what? If you don't want to be called out, don't be a jerk.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There will always be people who take an advantage, and it doesn't matter if it's a flat rate system they're taking advantage of or hourly salary that they're taking advantage of, right? Then that falls on who you hire, the type of people you hire, and management making sure that you don't give them opportunity to take advantage, right? Like, no, you shouldn't have to babysit, but then don't hire children, don't hire immature people who take advantage of you. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always thought that a system that would work, in my opinion, as someone who would, if it's hourly, I'm still going to work hard. I'm still going to do it as much as I can. It's just who I am. But I think having a system that pays us for the hours we're there, not just 40, but if you're working maybe a 6 hour, or sorry, 6 day work week, or you work 10-hour days or whatever it is, if you're there, you get paid. And anything you flag over that is yours to keep. Now, if somebody's eating up the hourly clock, I then find it the responsibility of the manager to be like, hey, why are you sitting around eating up the clock? And I think
When there's
we
work
have
to be done.
we have a little bit of a lack of accountability, I think, through the automotive industry. Specifically is there's quite a few, in my opinion, not in my experience, but my opinion is there's some managers out there that don't want to have those conversations, and they don't want to, kind of be like, hey, this needs to change. And so we're just kind of stuck here because no one's really willing to step up.
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
going
true.
to.
They're difficult conversations to have, but they're difficult because your employees have feel like they've been mistreated for so long. Everyone's so jaded, and like people fly off the handle because they don't because they don't know how to have these kinds of conversations in a healthy way, right? They become
Yeah.
really defensive. And I get everybody's side. I get everybody's side. If you feel like you've been taken advantage of for so long, you're gonna do the same back, or you leave or whatever. Like it's so deep rooted and so multifaceted, this issue. But if if you want your employees to perform efficiently and produce, they got to be happy, right? And if they're not paid, they're not happy. It's
Mhm.
kind of simple, right? So I feel like it's made into a bigger problem than it needs to be. Yes, difficult conversations have to be had, but that comes with change. Like there are always discomforts in change before it gets better.
With technicians being happy and like being paid as well. Also wanted to bring up warranty times. Were there any issues with lowering warranty times for Porsche when you were in there? Did y'all experience that? Or is that just like
Um, yes, that is universal. Warranty times don't make any sense. It's like, have you tried doing any of these things in that time frame? It's not possible. But Porsche being, I don't know, for everything, um, they were a little bit more generous than some of the other brands with their time, but not with everything. And even still, the amount of documentation that is required to prove the warranty and the pictures in the order and all, like it costs the tech more time than is being paid to them. So it's kind of hard to justify putting that much effort into what, like what you end up being paid for. Yeah. Warranty time is never fair.
Yeah, I feel the same way, especially for like Toyota. Like if you replace a transmission under warranty, like you have to fill out this transmission fail sheet and it's asking about line pressure, stall test. What did it do at
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
I'm like, this is being
Yep.
recorded, so Toyota,
They,
I do everything. I follow all the instructions. I do every single time, But like, obviously, bro, come on, I'm not wasting my time doing that. For getting paid 4 hours for a 4-wheel drive, humongous Tundra transmission. Like, come on.
I'm
so I
surprised
don't
with
know how it was with Porsche, but so for diagnosis, there are labor codes for each operation that you do. So if you're smart and you know the labor codes for each of the operations and you justify with values and with like measurements, then you can be paid for each additional step rather than just like just the change. If you bill for yourself or book the time or the codes for each of the operations that you take getting to there, then and you back it up, then you should be paid for those as well. It just takes more time.
Yeah, no,
more
right. A
time, less
humongous
pay.
story.
Yeah, exactly. It's a humongous story. So
I've run into some of those issues with Audi. We probably have similar warranty companies. I know you don't work for the dealership anymore, but the hoops that we have to jump through, and when I worked at Toyota, I'm surprised they still do the transmission worksheet that you mentioned, Jay. That was awful. It's just like it's so much time spent, and it comes back to the same point. It's like we get paid for the amount of work we do, but you can spend an hour or two on like a huge warranty job, and then you're not getting paid anything for that. You're kind of just in the dark taking a big L for that time, and it was already
yeah,
like a tough time to beat. So it's a bummer. I don't know if that's
yeah,
going to change. It might only get tighter, not really give us any leeway on those warranty times. At least for
yeah.
you're like
No, you know what?
I'm
Like that, the
independent.
technician is not the one who engineered the part or the product that failed, and shouldn't be the one to pay to have it repaired. Because ultimately, if you're working on it and you don't get paid to fix their problem, that's that's a problem. I keep wanting to swear.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
No, I mean it's we suffer from design flaws in the cars, and technicians have to bite the bullet on these things, and you bring up a great point. It's just
Yeah, yeah. I didn't engineer it. I didn't create the problem. I'm helping you fix it. I should be paid for it, and I shouldn't be penalized for your mistake. So I don't think that's fair.
do you would you say the pressure is more off and you're able to more enjoy yourself now that you're doing independent and being able to get paid differently? Like, are you paid just hourly, or are you like, how does that work now?
I'm salary now. Now that I'm here, I'm salary, and moving towards the classics was a huge was part of that, because there's no warranty with classic work. It's all CP, right? So with that, there's that pressure taken off of me. Coming here to LA, I feel like the clientele is a little bit different. To the shop, the clientele is different than some of the Canadian clients, because here they drive their Porsches year round. In Toronto, you get 4 months if you're lucky, and so people don't really want to spend money on their cars, but you need to. It's a 40-year-old car. It's a 30 or 40-year-old car. It needs lots of stuff, and it's Porsche. Everything costs a lot, right? So the the demographic is different here. The clientele is different here. So yeah, the pressures are definitely off of me. I'm a little spoiled.
Makes me a
I
little jealous.
Sorry. Sorry.
Hey, got
Nah,
something? You're cooking something over there?
nah. I was like, no, I'm just trying to take it all in because I mean, I don't know. Dealing with like classic cars, I mean, shoot, I could imagine myself like only dealing with like because I got a Fox body. It's a 1991, and I could just imagine like me dealing with like a bunch of Fox bodies and stuff, running into like old stuff that I know is gonna break, running into like someone paying like someone saying, "Oh, I'm trying to keep it under $5,000," and then like I'm like, bro, there's no way it's gonna do that. Like
There's no
everything's
way.
breaking
Yeah,
on the car, and then you
yeah.
already going into
Everything's
the job
break.
knowing that.
Yeah, and you don't know until you get in. And you start removing stuff, and other stuff breaks. The good the good thing about Porsche is that their support for their classic stuff is is the best that I see of all of the different manufacturers. The technical support is there, having us all trained as new techs on the classic stuff, reproducing old parts. There's like a ton of new Porsche parts that's available for the classic cars.
Oh, so they take like super duper pride into their classic items. Like that's why there's a
Oh
certification
yeah,
level for it. It's great.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, Toyota
I
yeah.
could
think
care less.
uh,
I ain't even gonna lie.
I think Porsche's got
Toyota
to be
says
one
get
of
a
the
new car.
most. I think they've got to be one of the most like prideful in their product when it comes to like their older cars. Porsche is up
Yeah, I think
there.
so. Yeah, I think Mercedes also has a pretty in-depth restoration classic support, but theirs is it's like it's not as like widespread through their dealerships. You know, like for Porsche, you could every dealer can become a classic dealer, then your techs get training and all this stuff. But I think it is not quite the same for Mercedes. They do restoration, but it's not spread across and not as accessible.
What's a good way to like if we had any people on here watching if they were like interested in classic Porsche training? What's a good way to describe like how different it is from like dealership working on like new Porsches and stuff versus like how they train you to work on their old stuff? If there's any difference.
Um, the biggest difference is the age of everything crumbling at this point, which is understandable or a given. But another big thing is the lack of all of the electrical stuff that's stuffed into the cars these days. Like it's just a 12 volts. Is it on or off? Sometimes I get a 5-volt reference and that's it. I don't have 10. I don't have a 48-volt system. I don't have high and low. I don't have orange wires. I don't have any of that. So that is a big difference. And when something breaks, I can usually just repair it. It's not a whole component swap, which I feel like is one of the downfalls of the industry nowadays. Is like we're just replacing parts. Sorry, am I fidgeting a lot?
Oh no, you're good. I mean, we're
Nah, yeah,
probably
we're
all.
definitely replacing.
I'm sitting on a garbage can. Okay, it's not comfortable.
Now we're definitely replacing big parts as in total. We're like not. I mean, especially on the Toyota side. I mean, literally Toyota, we'd rather replace the transmission than dig into it and replace a valve body. So like they don't
Yeah, you know
mess
what? It's
mess
like
with
that
us much.
everywhere almost. It's like that everywhere. Yeah. I would love to have more transmission experience. I have tons of engine experience, but a lot of people, they kind of neglect the transmission. So I don't have that experience. But that's why I got into the classic stuff is so that I can like really dig in and get into stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely
And
like a higher
you
experience level than someone like just regular flat rate at a dealer. Like you're definitely, I feel like you're digging in a lot more with the classic stuff,
Thank you.
especially with
Thank
rust.
you. Oh my God. Actually, it's different now that I'm in LA. It's
Like,
I'm preparing to like clean rust and like heat stuff up and soak it in penetration oil. And I got into the habit in Toronto. We had Loctite reps come to visit us. And so the contact surface between threads, inner and outer, is like 12%. That's the only amount of contact between the inner and outer threads. And so the rest of that space is allows for for water, moisture to get in, and that's how it corrodes, right? And so I started cleaning threads and then applying Loctite properly, to take up that space, to seal it, not just to lock the threads, but also to prevent corrosion from coming in or from developing. I don't have to do any of that here. I don't have to heat anything. I barely need to use penetration oil. It's pretty cool. It's pretty awesome.
Especially with those older cars. I'm sure it's night and day difference. I mean, I always laugh at the people that live in those areas like that where there's ice and rust, and I'm like, thank goodness I do not live there and I don't have to deal with all that crazy stuff, because that goes into the flat rate conversation. It's like you spend so much time and you don't even get paid for it.
Yeah.
It's like
No, you
nothing.
gotta clean the car. Yeah, because moving moving from the small independent shop to the Porsche dealership, one of my favorite parts was, now that these Porsches, they don't really drive much in the wintertime. I'm not like inspecting the cars and it's like salt water and snow melting, like dripping into my face and stuff like that. But like it's much nicer when you don't have to deal with like rust and snow in the wintertime. I'm sorry.
Would you
No, yeah,
say
especially North Carolina, the same here as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
it
So
sounds like it sounds like your passion for like cars comes back when you take away the pressures of warranty, of flat rate, and I mean, you still have to jump through a bunch of hoops to like work on older cars, but they're not the same hoops, and it allows
yeah.
you to really kind of fall into what you started the industry for, which was the love of cars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All that stuff takes away from it. It makes it a chore. It's not enjoyable anymore. It just detracts from the whole experience.
Yeah, no, 100%. I didn't even think about it like that because I mean, you get more into the mindset of like I'm trying to pump hours. I'm trying to like the only time you really like happy like working on like Toyotas at least is when you got a good amount of gravy on it. Like I mean, I'm not really happy about working on a 2020 RAV4 that you see every day. So I mean, like, yeah, I do see that. Yeah, you've got the opportunity since you're dealing with a bunch of cars that people are actually sought after. I mean, you probably work on the two cars Curtis has right there behind him.
Yes, I can't see the one on your left, but that G body, we have a couple in the shop right now.
Yeah. The somebody asked me about like my passion for Audi and like old cars and stuff like that, and like I don't ever see old cars, and the old cars we see are not ones that are fun to work on. They're like just 100 200,000 mile cars, and you're like, I don't want to touch this at all, because it's just like not saying A6s aren't great, but A6 is like, I don't, that's not cool. I'm you know um and so the person who asking me was really curious, like, why do I feel this way? And it's like, just like Jay was just saying, is like the dealership life is turn and burn those hours. How fast can you get them out, and can you do it the right way? And so it's like, it's I feel like I've lost a little bit of that passion for cars in the dealership life, and it's just because I don't have time to learn how cool old Audis are, or how cool old Porsches are, or whatever the brand is. I'm focused on getting those cars in, getting them out, making a ton of hours. It's like it's it's a chore, and hearing you talk
Yeah,
about it, it's like, man, I got that itch. Like, I
yeah,
don't know
yeah. And it shouldn't have to be like that, like I don't know if I live in like a bubble in a fairy tale land that I've made up for myself, but I don't feel like it should be a chore. Why can't we enjoy going to work? We spend so much freaking time there with these people and it's our livelihood. I feel like it's not asking too much to be happy. Like happiness isn't like this like fictional thing. It's not. We're not asking a lot to be able to enjoy work, right? But it's this like this this rampant communism, not communism,
It might be.
capitalism. This rampant capitalism where it's just like where it's just like feed this beast that is just seeking money, 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 but we're not the ones getting the money, 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 right? We're just we're like the little like hamsters in the wheel, but we don't get like the cheese.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you all like recently, like since it got cold in North Carolina, we've been dealing. I dealt with the 25 Tundra the other day, and it was like customer states. Um, when he started the car this morning, a bunch of white smoke came out, and I was literally laughing reading it because it was the first cold morning we had of the year, and I'm just like, wait, why did this even get through the service lane? Why did the service writer even write this up? Because it makes zero sense.
The service
Bro,
writer
it is
doesn't know
cold.
anything either. You're like,
It's cold. Like, what do you mean? It's smoking this morning. Yeah, it's smoking. It's supposed to.
yeah, the service writer. You know, I love service writers, but that's like expecting the parts guy to like tell the guy, hey, it's normal. You know, like you dealt with parts guys, and as much as I love parts guys, it's not abnormal to get a wrong part or to get two left rotors or whatever, right? Like these are like common across the entire trade. You have to look on your face.
Every day.
We are the experts. And they just don't know. They just don't know. We have to have patience. We just have to have patience because they don't know.
I feel like
Today I
sometimes
about
they're
lost
kind of
my
like,
patience.
yeah, I mean,
Sorry,
they're
Curtis.
patience, but it's also like, well, you know, I always try to help my advisors or help my parts guys and help them learn and stuff like that. And I feel like sometimes the advisors are, you know, kind of left out to dry more than us as techs. So because they don't know about the cars, they're literally just the middleman. So
Yeah,
that can that
yeah,
communication between us as techs and the advisors is way more important and way more valuable than all those angry gremlins in our comment sections seem to think that they are.
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. No,
Does
you're right.
is it the same for independent? Like how's that you know the advisor work for y'all? Is it the same type of setup?
So at this shop, we don't really have an advisor. There's just three of us. But the independent shop that I left in Toronto, we did have two service advisors, and yeah, it's pretty much the same. You know, like people come in because they don't understand, they don't know cars and car systems, right? And the more savvy or the more knowledgeable a service writer is, they can vet, you know, calls worth coming in and some that are not worth coming in. Um, but it's important that they have knowledge and understanding of what's going on so that they can communicate that to the client. I feel like it's the same everywhere you go. It's the intermediary; they're the middle guy. Um, and even if like we came out and try to explain it to the people, like just because we have the knowledge, the person sometimes just can't receive the information. They don't understand to that level of tech, like technically or whatever, right? So I think like you know they're the middle guy, but they're important. They talk to people, so I don't have to.
Real.
Now, yeah, today parts ended up giving me an oil filter for a car that doesn't that this generation of car never had this oil filter even included. It was like an N1 filter, which was like spin on, which this generation of Camrys never
Doesn't
had
even
a
have.
spin on. It was all cartridge. And I'm just like, bro. And I go back there and he like, wrong filter, bro. And I'm like, yeah, wrong filter. It's not even for that generation. So I'm like, what?
Yeah. We have to have patience with them. They just do what the computer tells them to do. Sorry.
Yeah, it doesn't change. They're everywhere. The miss parts are everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, you have to have like with the independent shop I was at. Actually, even this day, like to this day, um, I help as much as I can. I know how to work the Porsche parts catalog, and I know how confusing it is, especially for some of the classic stuff. You know, depending on the model line or the engine type and stuff like that. It's all different parts. And at an independent, that parts guy has to know all of the manufacturers, all like there's no way, right? So the more we can do to help them, the better. It'll make it easier for everyone. But everyone has to learn.
Yeah, we all got to play our part. Um, since you're such a, I didn't really ask this at the beginning, but I'm curious did you always know when you decided, hey, I want to be a mechanic, did you know Porsche was for you or did you just kind of fall upon it?
It just fell into it. I actually didn't even really like Porsches when I first started. I thought they were so pretentious. And I was going to get into motorcycles, something where the scale made sense for my slight build. But then I had the opportunity with Porsche, and honestly, I'm like the hugest Porsche fan. The engineering makes sense to me. When I do something, things come apart in a way that makes sense. They go together in a way that makes sense. If I'm trying to do something and it's like really, really, really hard, I know that it's because I'm going about it the wrong way, right? So I'm a huge fan of Porsche at this point. But when I first got into it, I had no appreciation for it.
Do you have a favorite one?
I have like the air cools are my favorite over like the water cools. I usually say the 964 Turbo, like the one in Bad Boys with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
Eh,
No,
no.
so that's a
I
nice.
always get confused by the codes of Porsches. I'm like, I know a couple of them, but I'm like, I'd have to see a picture.
Yeah. It took me years, honestly, to like really learn them, and I still don't have it all. Like people will tell me this mirror doesn't belong to this car, or that fender's too wide. I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Wait.
Are
I
you
only know
looking
the
it
year
up?
model. I know. I was just thinking because I know like. Oh, he is looking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. I was gonna say I only know like the year model of the one that I think that like is really interests me is, and it's. But other than that, all the codes for them, and especially when you're in the dealership, I know some of the dealership techs, and they know all the codes, all the variations, all the rear wheel drive, all wheel drive, all the tops, all the blah. I'm just like, how do y'all remember that? It's so intense, just so much.
It takes time. It took me years to like grasp it to the level that I have now. And I'm like scratching the surface. I feel like I'm just scratching the surface.
Yeah, I feel like on my part for Toyota, it's pretty easy to remember the engine codes. On Porsche, I was scrolling through your Instagram and I was like, for a minute, I thought you were working on motorcycles because it looked air cooled head. I saw like air cooled heads, and I'm like, wait,
It is
what?
air cooled.
What's going on?
Porsche
Like, wait, she
engines.
working on
Yeah, no, you're right. Porsche engines up until 98 were air cooled. So that's what I specialize in is the air cooled line of Porsches.
I mean, how is
So
that
yeah, it's
system?
so
Yeah, I mean, I bet it's a lot simpler.
Yeah, I don't have to bleed any coolant ever, so that's really awesome. The the horizontally opposing um, um, crank and pistons. Yeah. I can't remember what it's called, but because they go like that, and the pistons and the cylinders are arranged like that, the fan is on top. It just pushes air down and literally just cools it that way. So yeah, it's like straightforward and simple, I find.
feel like we could have a whole nother conversation about Porsches. It's like so cool to talk to someone who works with them because it's like I mean maybe it's just me, but so many techs love Porsches. They love the exotics. They love the luxury cars, and so we could talk for another hour about Porsches, and I'd just be here listening to you talk about all these fancy air cooled cars, and it's just like I was just dreaming, maybe drooling a little bit, like oh man, that sounds like a good time to me.
It's fun until it's not fun.
Yeah, when a bolt
Yeah,
breaks.
it's dirty. It's like 30 years of oil and grease and dirt. And like, have you smelled rancid oil before? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. People who just don't change the oil. And even if like they do change the oil, but they don't like get all of it, like there's always some oil that's been left in there, right? And old, like old oil is disgusting. Gear oil, diff oil doesn't even come close to old rancid oil. It's nasty.
Well, oh, wow. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think I've ever smelled that.
it's disgusting.
That's right.
As we kind of get close to the end here, is there anything you probably inspire a ton of people, maybe more than you realize, you know, being a Porsche technician and a woman in the industry and very outgoing as you are, is there anything that you would kind of tell some of the younger techs about that maybe are a little hesitant to get into the industry or hesitant to even take that step, you know, like you did from going from a desk job to, you know, full-time mechanic? Like what would you tell some of those people that are kind of just like hesitant?
Um, you got to take a chance on yourself. Like you got to be honest with yourself. Can I or can I not do this? You can try it if you're not sure. Um, you can try it if you're not sure to see if it's meant for you or whatever. But you just be honest with yourself. Be open to learn. Nobody wants to teach someone who knows everything already, and that's one of the huge things in our industry is that I got in, I got into classes because I knew I liked the classes, I liked digging into the work. But a lot of the guys who were PDIing these cars when they were new, they're aging out and retiring. So I'm like, here, this is my in. But for the people who are coming into the industry, a lot of guys don't want to teach them, right? But you don't, and it's because some people just don't like to share information, but some people go in with this, like, I just came out of school and I got my license, so I know everything. But like when you get your driver's license, when you're 16, do you know everything? No, not even close. But you have a driver's license, right? You spend some time, you're certified to be safe on the road, but you don't know everything yet. And so I feel like that's the same in any trade, any industry, any field. Go in knowing that you have so much more to learn. And then just kind of, like be truthful with yourself and then give it your best shot. If that's what you want to do, whatever it is, try it. Give yourself a chance.
That's a great way to put it, especially with the driver's license and the certification. I've never really heard it that way.
I was when I got so my Porsche certifications, right? But as I'm no longer a Porsche employee, I'm not eligible to continue renewing them. So they've lapsed. So I was feeling like bummed out about it. And then I thought about it and I was like, wait a second. It doesn't, just because they've lapsed doesn't mean I've lost or forgotten any of the things I've learned or my experience. I still have that. And then I kind of just like related it to the driver's license. I'm like, you know what? I don't trust a 16-year-old guy or a person with a brand new driver's license. So why do I put so much, emphasis or weight on these licenses? Like, yes, they're valuable, they mean something, but they don't mean everything.
A great way to put it.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
I think you have any final questions there, Mr. J?
Did they make y'all ever get like outside source certifications, like for instance ASC or any other stuff like that?
No, they don't make you. We don't have ASE in Canada, but we do have the Red Seal program, which is uh, trades certifications. Almost all of the trades have the Red Seal or a Red Seal certification. Not all techs get Red Seal certified, but most people who go through school, some people just kind of fall into the job and they just do the job. They've been doing it for decades. They never bother to get certified. But if you go through the schooling and stuff like that, you tend to get certified. And then with the Red Seal certification, you can work across Canada.
Yeah, I think
See, I didn't even know
they're trying to cook something up like that here. I think unfortunately they're trying to cook something up like with ASE, and I don't know if unfortunately is the right word, but I know they're trying to cook something up with ASE and certification here, similar to the Red Seal program up in Canada. Nhu, do you have any questions for us? I mean, this is kind of our first time, talking in meetings. Is there anything Questions for JRI?
How do you guys meet? How do you know each other?
You go first this time, Jay. You go first this time.
Um, my memory's terrible, but like I saw Curtis on Instagram, um, and like the way he started off his content, he was recording in his shop, like I mean, in his current dealer, he was still recording there. And I saw one of his videos, and at first he started like, I feel like he was really aggressive on like work, flat rate. You need to turn 80 hours, 100 hours, 120, and like those how his videos were. And then I mean, I liked one of them, and then we started following each other, and then he reached out and asked about the podcast, asked if like I was like willing to do it with him. And I mean, he's the networker, like freaking Curtis is crazy on LinkedIn. Like he is like the master networker. Like he got in contact with you, and I'm just here. I'm 23 years old, and he's a little bit older than me, so he's kind of showing me the ropes to like grabbing me, tagging me along. So I mean, he's the guy.
That's awesome. You guys make a good team.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, really. Like we kind of we weird to say, but we kind of complete each other in areas where maybe one of us is a little bit different, and we carried a conversation well. And
Exactly. You guys complement each other well, definitely.
yeah, I've always,
except for my stupid internet.
That's okay. Mine's not that great either.
You get you plugged into that router back there. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
I think something that kind of I've always been like this, where like I'll see somebody who has really good potential and they have a good head on their shoulders and they're doing right by themselves in the industry. And I saw Jay, and we did a couple like lives together, and I was like, this, like our chemistry here is pretty good. I feel like we could have good conversation and we could be honest and we can help the industry. And here we are. We're doing that. We're talking to automotive professionals from from all over the place. I mean, we're only on, I don't know, this will be probably episode 13 or 14, but it's got to start somewhere. And I was very flat rate, hardcore when I started posting. And I mean, that was only a year ago, but I've kind of learned more about myself, I think, in that time too. Is it's not all about the hours. And that kind of goes to some of the things we were talking about, like losing the passion for fixing cars and maybe just focusing on those hours. And this last year has really helped me do that. And so I don't know who to thank, but thank you to the world for helping me realize that it's not all about the hours.
That's good. The universe.
Yeah.
Thank you, social media. Thank you, social media. Thank you, social media.
Yeah, it all works. I mean, it helped you get over here. It's helping me realize the hours aren't enough, or are not everything.
Yeah.
Who would have thought social media would get us to this where we're
at? Was it really social media that helped you kind of see that?
Well, to Jay's point, I was filming in the shop and I kind of didn't really ask anybody. I just started doing it. And then my managers found out and were like, no, you can't do that. So I had to stop filming in the shop. And I think that's really when I started to realize is I did want to do this. I did want to set a good example and, lead the industry forward in a way that's beneficial to technicians. And I think by doing that, it really helped me help bring some clarity to my mission and my message, and was the fact that there's a big problem with technicians and not having seats at the table. My thing is I want to be able to bring technicians to the conversation where we're never included. We aren't included in conversations about our pay, our livelihood, our health. I'm sure we got cool benefits, but no one's sitting there representing us. And that was my goal, was to, with LinkedIn, it's all business, so that was my in there, is represent myself and represent technicians. And hopefully, we can get this thing on the right path for technicians. And, who knows? We'll see. It's early. It's still,
Yeah.
still cooking.
Now, you know what? It's important though, because you're right. Like, we don't speak up because, we're all like fighting. We're all fighting our own battles, trying to fight each other for hours and stuff like that. But then it's like, it's dividing us to keep us from like actually seeing the big picture for ourselves, right? So no, it's huge. It's important that there's a voice for us.
it he's about fighting technicians for hours. I get such mixed feelings about that. Especially when it's slow, just because I want to help the team out, but also we know flat rate is our individual paychecks rely on it too, and so it's such a battle sometimes internally that I struggle with. I feel like a lot, and it makes me kind of question my own ethics, and I don't like that. And I think that kind of stems from just the flat rate in general. Is it like I question who I am as a person because of the pay structure I'm stuck living?
Yeah, that's kind of that kind of that's a hard hit to take, like because you're doing what you need to do, and then you have to like you step back and you question yourself. Like that's hard sometimes. You're just kind of doing what you need to do in that environment, and it's easy to get lost and kind of like lose sight of things.
Yeah, like today, last week, I only ended up getting like 36 hours in a 4-day work week. So I'm like kind of down because I didn't hit my goal of 13 hours or more a day. I did not hit it by a long shot. So today, I literally like grabbed 2 cars at the same time while there was a couple other empty bays for technicians. But I'm like, bro, I'm sorry. Like I just came off a bad week. Like I gotta try and make it happen this week, or we gonna have another bad week, and I ain't having that. So sometimes it's just you gotta, I don't know, you gotta.
But you gotta eat, right? And I guess, but that's where the flat rate. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Well, New, it's been a pleasure having you on. I hope that we can have another conversation in the future as the podcast grows, and learn a little bit more about you and the awesome things you're doing for the independent shop, Porsche, yourself, and people all across the industry. I would really appreciate you speaking with us today.
Thank you for having me on. You guys were fun.
All right. Well, Newt, congrats on your work visa, and thank you. Well, actually,
Thank
welcome
you.
to the United States. I guess this is your second week here, so welcome here. I hoping you're liking it so far, and I hope you continue to like it throughout your years here. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the Walk Podcast. We had a wonderful guest today. Thank you for being on, especially such on a short time frame. You're just 2 weeks here, so thank you very much, and we'll see y'all next time.